What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video we are going to be talking about the Microsoft E3 2019 leaks. We're going to be talking about their entire conference and every leak we have seen so far that indicates what they're going to be talking about. So we're going to be doing this kind of like how we did the Game of Thrones leaks on our channel. First, I'm going to go over everything that we've heard, okay? So just literally reading through the announcements, what we're going to see, games, consoles, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of the video, or at least after that, I'm going to give my breakdown, my impressions of it. So if you want to hear me talk about it, that's at the end. And if you just want to hear just them listed off, that's going to be right now. Now, the biggest thing of this conference, obviously, is the next generation of consoles, and Microsoft is officially going to be announcing it. Now, rumors have shown, or leaks have shown, that there are actually two different versions of their next-gen console, which we have heard from in the past. We knew that that was kind of going to happen. One of them is going to be very, very similar to the PS5. It's going to be able to keep up with it in terms of capabilities, in terms of performance, in terms of, how the console actually functions. Both of them are releasing in 2020. So they're going to be announcing their conference this year at E3, but it's going to be more along the lines of what Sony did back in April, just about a month and a half ago, when Sony did that exclusive interview and they kind of talked about, the performance of the PlayStation, what it's going to focus on. We're not going to see the actual console. We're not going to see a controller. We're not going to see any of that stuff. But we're going to hear about all of the tech things of the next Xbox console. So we're going to know how it runs. We're going to see what it's mainly going to be focused on. A lot of things are going to be cloud streaming. They got some realistic rendering that they're technology that they're working on. So we're going to be hearing about the specs of the Xbox console, but no price, no release date. They're going to do a full, a more formal announcement next year. So this is still a 2020 console. Now, I said earlier that there are two consoles coming, and that is true. One of them, again, is going to keep up with the PS5. The other one is going to be what the leaks have said is a more budget-friendly, but just cloud service, just kind of digital gaming, okay? So it's going to be a lot less in terms of performance. It's not going to run as well, but it's going to be more budget-friendly. So they have two different consoles they're working on. They also have their cloud program that they're going to be formally unveiling and talking about. They've been working on this for a couple years. So a big part of Microsoft's conference, as we kind of already knew, is going to be talking about the future. Cloud gaming, streaming, all of the tech for their next Xbox, talking about it. So we're going to get quite a bit of information, but maybe not as much as a lot of people think of. And of course, the xCloud is that new thing that they're rolling out that allows you to play your games on your, mobile device or your iPad, things like that. That's the xCloud. It's going to be formally unveiled, and then it's going to roll out and be updated when the next generation of consoles come out. So we got a lot of stuff with that. Now, I did see one leak, one rumor that said that the Xbox specs, what they're going to announce for the main one, the big Xbox console, is actually going to be more powerful than the PS5. Now, we do not know the official specs of either of these consoles, and I've only seen that leak in one place. There has been things thrown around that one or the other of these consoles is going to be more powerful than the other. We'll have to see, but we'll have to see just when that is actually announced, which one technically is going to be the more powerful of the two. Now, that is it in terms of the consoles, in terms of the streaming, in terms of xCloud, in terms of all that. But they have obviously games they're going to be announcing too. So again, I'm going to run through what the leaks have said, the games that we know are going to be there, what they're going to show from the games, and then I'll give my quick impressions of that. Now, Halo Infinite, we have a new trailer and a 2020 release date is announced. Gears 5, we have full gameplay reveal, an on-stage demonstration of single and multiplayer, and a release date. Gears Tactics, a new trailer and 2019 release date for PC. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, a new trailer and 2019 release date. Bleeding Edge, a teaser trailer with a 2020 release date. The Outer Worlds, new gameplay trailer and a release date. Cyberpunk 2077, new gameplay trailer, update on development process, and a targeted release date. Age of Empires gameplay demonstration with a 2020 release date. Fable, a new teaser trailer with a potential 2021 release date. Sea of Thieves, a teaser trailer, and Battletoads, a full gameplay demonstration and a 2019 release date. Now, let me go over this really fast because I want to talk about this. I think these leaks are missing things. I feel like there are games that are going to be announced that are not on this leak. We just recently had a leak or a potential thing from George R.R. Martin, who was collaborating on a From Software game, open world, where it's like a horseback thing. They've been working on it for 3 years, and that's said to be announced at Microsoft's conference. I also feel like it's very possible a Rocksteady or Warner Brothers Montreal could be there and announce potentially the next Batman game or the next superhero game, whatever they're working on. So I feel like there are going to be more announcements and more things at their conference. Also, going through this, I have some worries for sure because I feel like they're kind of all over the place, these games. Halo makes sense, okay? The showing the trailer, having the release in 2020, but here's the thing. I feel like we have to take what they're saying with release date 2020, grain of salt. It'll say 2020, that is it, because Halo Infinite is 100% a next generation, like day one exclusive. So Halo Infinite will come out with the next generation of consoles, and they're not announcing that release date, so they won't announce Halo Infinite's release date. So, in terms of that release date, I buy it for the most part, but I think it's just going to say 2020. Gears makes sense. Gears is the big juggernaut game that they really have going into the fall, and to be honest, Sony really has nothing to combat it going into the fall, so this is a really big one for Microsoft. They can't mess this up, so it makes sense. Showing gameplay, showing single player, having people go on stage, do the multiplayer thing. They've done that with games in the past. I think that'll be really exciting to see it. I think it's probably what they'll focus a lot on, considering it's an on-stage demonstration. Those normally take a good amount of time, 5, 10, 15 minutes. So I believe that 100% release date. I 100% believe that too. There has been some rumors that it's going to come out in September, so we'll see, but I 100% would think that we will get a release date for Gears 5, like an actual date. I do believe that 100%. Gears Tactics, I'm going to skip because honestly, me personally, I have nothing to say about it and I don't really care about it. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, I really like Ori. Ori is a really, really awesome game franchise that Microsoft has, kind of gobbled up and taken in their own, and it's become a staple kind of the Microsoft studios. It's been a really, really solid franchise for them. We saw that, I believe, last year at their conference, so we'll be seeing it again, getting release date. Again, I mean, that's another really good exclusive for them in the fall. The Outer Worlds will be cool to see. I think a lot of people are pretty excited for it. There's a lot of potential with this game. It makes sense being just that it is the Outer Worlds, being that it is an outside developer on their stage floor. So I think that's a really good thing too. I would not discredit that, and I would 100% think that's going to happen as well. Now here's the thing with Cyberpunk. I don't understand Cyberpunk, and I don't understand these leaks with Cyberpunk. They're going to show stuff. They're going to talk about the development process and a targeted release date. Why is it targeted? Why can't they just give us a release date? I feel like this has to do with all those rumors that indicate it was supposed to come out late 2019, possibly has been pushed to 2020, but there's no such thing as a targeted release date. Like, what's the difference between a targeted release date and a release date? You normally announce the release date and you hit it. It is your target because you announced it. So if you announce a targeted release date, it better be the release. Otherwise, it's like, well, we're going to try and get this out in October, but if we can't, well, then January it is. That doesn't really make any sense. That doesn't look good for CD Projekt Red. How do you sell people on pre-ordering that? Because it's like, well, I'm pre-ordering it because they're trying to hit it in October. But just like basically what I'm saying is the wording of this, I don't know. I don't know about this. I feel like we're just going to get a release date. They're going to say the release date, and if it gets delayed, it's just like any other game that gets delayed. I don't know why they have to talk about the development process. I feel like this is going to be one of those things where Microsoft kind of just wastes a little bit of their time where they don't need to. I love CD Projekt Red. I love The Witcher, but we just need to see a little bit more of Cyberpunk, have them show their stuff on their own, and then give us a release date. I don't think we're going to need all this kind of extra padding on the game, but I guess we're going to end up getting it in their conference, so that's fine. Age of Empires. Age of Empires is a pretty big game franchise. Again, I don't really have much to say it. It's not really a franchise that interests me. Really cool, however, that it's going to be on their stage. Fable, this is a really cool one. We knew that there is a Fable in development. We've heard a lot of stuff about Fable, so I'm very, very excited to see what they're going to do. However, it does seem like it's still kind of early in development, where we're really not, it says teaser trailer. This is the only one, I believe, that says a teaser trailer. Actually, Sea of Thieves says it for some reason, but this is the big one, a big exclusive that says teaser trailer. I think we'll get way more for Halo Infinite in terms of a trailer than we will for Fable. And when it says, potential 2021 release date, I don't buy that either. We're past that age where developers or publishers, big publishers like Microsoft, announce the release date for a game that could be that, but is way too far out to even predict. We've seen The Last of Us Part 2. We've seen Death Stranding. We've seen Ghost of Tsushima. Those are the Sony big three that have to still come out, right? And they've never never told us a release date for them, right? When we saw the Last of Us Part 2's gameplay demo last year at E3, it was like 10 minutes long, and it had cinematic trailer, it had gameplay, it looked very, very good. It looked like that part of the game is completed, and they never told us they didn't say anything, okay? So I think for Fable, for them to say 2021, it's putting a lot of pressure on them. It's unnecessary. Again, we're past the point of that. You know, Sony hasn't done that really, I think, since like Uncharted 4 when they announced it, and then everything kind of fell apart. Amy Hennig, you know, they parted ways with her. They had to basically redo the game. So, you know, they don't really do that. You could look at games like Kingdom Hearts and games that were announced way, way, way too early. I feel like that would be a mistake Fable would make if they do that. So I would expect a teaser trailer, but I think in terms of when people think it'll come out, it'll probably come out in 2021. People will probably think it's coming out in 2021, but will they say that on the stage? Will they show that? I really don't think so. I think that'd be a big mistake if they did. Sea of Thieves, a teaser trailer. I don't know why Microsoft is pushing this game. This game, to me, has not been big and never was big. I bought it day one. I played it day one. I have a lot to say about Sea of Thieves in general, but I'm not interested whatsoever in this. And then Battletoads, again, just not a game that interests me. So, honestly, a very half-and-half conference. This is Microsoft's big chance to come out on top. There is no Sony. There is no Nintendo. They're literally doing this on their own. They have Bethesda, who I think is just going to have a terrible press conference because last year, Fallout, all that stuff. They have Ubisoft. Ubisoft always does a pretty decent job. And then EA, they got that EA Plays. And EA is the worst corporation in the entire world. So you're really not competing with that many people. Microsoft is, I think, what people are really expecting to carry E3. I think Square Enix actually could easily come in second or even beat Microsoft, because I feel like if people are expecting a ton from their next generation of consoles, they've come to the wrong place. Microsoft is not going to talk about or show all that much. It's kind of just to get ahead of Sony officially in front of the world stage at E3 to announce their next console. And if they mess it up, if there's really not a lot of excitement, and the fact that they're not going to show a lot of the stuff of that next console till 2020 anyway, which is when Sony will do the PS5, do they really get that much of a head start? Talking about the specs, that stuff's cool, but we've already heard some of the specs for PS5. In terms of the game, or in terms of the fact that there's two consoles, that's interesting. The xCloud service, you know, the streaming, that's going to be, you know, something we knew that they were doing, so it'll be cool to see that and have them talk about that. And then the games, very 50-50. Halo has a lot to prove, Gears has a lot to prove, and just needs to come out because I think it is going to be a really good game. But then some of these other games like Sea of Thieves, I think that's just wasting time. Battletoads, Age of Empires, like what are they doing there? Cyberpunk, why are they talking about development time? Why are they giving a targeted release date? So very 50-50 with games. I'm sure there'll be more. I'm sure they'll do their indie corner where they show like the 30 games that Microsoft is sponsoring and trying to help get off the ground, and it's going to come to the Xbox One and all that stuff. I'm sure they'll do that. You know, I'm sure they'll talk about how great, you know, everybody is that has bought their console. They'll have that whole spiel, and that's what all of them do. It's just that I feel like the time for those kind of things have passed. That's why you see companies like Nintendo and Sony leaving, because we don't need that anymore. We don't even need E3 anymore, and we'll have to see if Microsoft can actually make it worthwhile. But I think it's going to be a very 50-50 show. Seems like a slightly above average show just because of the next generation of consoles. But if it was just those games, I honestly don't think that's a good show at all. I think that's actually a pretty weak show, because half of those things I really don't care about, / they're unnecessary to be there. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this leak? What do you think about what Microsoft's going to show at their E3 conference? And is there anything in there that you want me to make a video specifically talking about my impressions? I kind of gave a loose impression of everything that I read, but if you guys want me to cover something, maybe Halo, Gears, whatever, if you guys want me to cover what I think we'll see from them at their conference, let me know in the comments below. I can make another video for sometime next week and we can kind of do that. So if there's anything you guys want specifically, let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.